Oh no.
Oh, that was.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Miami Dolphin fans. Everyone tuning in, whether you're watching on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. You're watching Fitz Talk, a special episode, a special show today. Fitz Talk with Bobby and friends on the Fitz Talk Sports Network. And what better friends to start the day with than Fish Tank Hank of Fitz Talk today, Rob Mosley of DolphinsThirsty.com, and then Steve Malloy of Real Talk, Fins Talk. Three of the nicest dudes you could find. First off, I'll start off with Mr. Thirsty. Rob, how you doing, brother?
Can't complain, man. Life is good. You know, I know the Ramsey news got us all a little bit down yesterday, but we're still looking fins up here in Miami Dolphins fandom.
That's right. I'm not going to bring it down right now. I'm not going to be any kind of depression because it's my birthday. That's why I got the silly hat on. I'm rolling with it. I am committed to this. Fish Tank Hank.
Yes, sir.
So happy you're here, brother, because, you know, tomorrow I'm off. We're doing something for my birthday this weekend, and I was like, Fish Tank, Rob's going to step in, but I still want to do a show, and I want you with me. And you're like, I'm on, brother. You're here.
You know,
what's up,
I could not miss your birthday, Bobby. You know, what kind of, you know, partner in crime would I be if I let you come on without wishing you a very merry, not Christmas, Bobby, birthday. Very happy birthday, Bobby.
Well, it might be Christmas where you're at.
Well, you know, the time zone changes for me somehow. I go through this warp or something.
Steve, my brother, thank you so much for tuning in. I mean, for joining us, brother.
Absolutely. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, man. Appreciate you, man. You've appreciate you allowing Rob and I to be on the Fins Talk Sports Network on Real Talk Fins Talk. It's been a blast. So we appreciate you allowing us to have that opportunity. And again, happy birthday.
Thank you. And no, I thank you guys for being on Fins Talk Sports Network and coming here, putting your show on every Tuesday night and get to know you guys. That's one thing I love about doing this is, yes, talking Dolphins, talking sports, Fins Talk Sports Network, but the relationships that I have made doing this to people that I would never probably have met outside maybe Twitter once in a while, but Fish Tank up in Oregon when we first started, Rob in Florida right now.
We were on another network when we started, too.
That's true. You know, yeah. Evan up in Canada, Brett
then we
Delaware.
Joined forces.
Yeah.
We touched our Wonder Twin power rings, and poof, we were there.
That's
well,
right.
Actually, it's that other network where I actually caught your guys' show, and you invited me to come on the show, and I said, I'm going to do better. I'm going to ask you if I can be on the Fins Talk Sports Network.
That's right. And we created it. And so it's just been very cool. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I see my mother's there. Happy birthday. And I got to drop her the link because I know she said she would love to pop on. And so I will. Back It Up Bench podcast. Thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. Shake Money. 2AIQ.
He's our resident Buffalo Bills fan that comes in.
Oh, there you go. We appreciate you, Michael K., resident Bills fan. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for tuning in. I will say this, if this is your first time to the channel, and it's my birthday, and you want to say, hey, what can I do? If you want to give me a birthday present, hit that like and subscribe button. Okay, hit that like and subscribe button, and do me a favor. If you're watching here, after you're done here, go to Dolphins Thirsty YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. That would be the perfect birthday present for myself. Give something me.
Yeah.
Get something for my
Bobby,
friend.
your birthday's so big that we're streaming on 2 channels today. So,
That's true. Yours and mine.
Yeah.
Well,
so if you're watching on mine, go over to Bobby's if you haven't hit it and give him that big subscribe and thumbs up for his birthday.
Absolutely. And so, hey, look, there's so much to talk about that we've got 2 days of awesome Dolphins content coming. That can only mean one thing. Fish Tank is the chimney's coming. But we got 2 days of great Dolphins content. And for Michael K, Bills fan, we have great sports content. We don't just and NFL content. We don't just have Dolphins content. So that's just another push for a subscription. You don't have to go, I'm not gonna watch only Dolphins content. Brother, we got more than that. So hit that subscribe button, join the family. Be happy to have you. And Daniel Marino, as you guys could see, that is my mother. She did that is try to play around, pretend who to be somebody else, but Dan Marino. But she's raised a little Dolph fan and now commanding an audience of fans. Yeah. In the days as a youngster at Joe Robbie Stadium, and now you're pumping out content. Yes. Yeah, when I was a Boy Scout or a Cub Scout, we used to be at Park Outside Pro Player, and camp there and all that. That was a lot of fun.
Good
but
stuff.
Man, there's so much to talk about with the Dolphins. I mean, it's training camp has started. You thought that, okay, it's to be training camp. They're going to do their little push. They're going to show the video of our quarterback doing a 10-yard zip, and everybody's going to go crazy. That's all that's going to happen. That's it. There's nothing too crazy. Jalen Ramsey's out,
Yeah.
and that sucks, but no one wanted to see that right away. Jalen Ramsey is out in the very first practice. It was a play with Tyreek Hill, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And as we got more information, what's up, Cap? As we got more information, the more it became apparent he's going to miss some time. I project, me personally, this is just me, about 4 to 6 weeks. You heard some people say, hey, it's the first day of training camp. And these were legitimate people in the business saying he could come back by season opener. More than likely, it's going to be, he even said, December. It looks like it's going to be December. Thank you, Cap, brother. I appreciate you, man. Let me go ahead and start. I'm going to start with Fish Tank because he had a reaction live. He posted something on Twitter. Okay. And of course he stirred the pot. He got some people going and he's like, all I said. So Fish Tank, now you've had 24 hours to digest this information. What is your reaction now to Jalen Ramsey going down, possibly being out till December, maybe? What's your thoughts on that, man?
Well, let's see. Somebody named Robbie had put something out on Twitter, and they said there's 4 reasons why I'm not worried about it. And I'll give you my 4 reasons. Same reason they said. You got Trill, you got Cater. Who are the other 2 cornerbacks? You got 2 more cornerbacks. Who you got?
Cam Smith. There's a young.
Cam Smith. Get to see what he can do. So, I mean, yeah, it does suck, but it also creates opportunity, and it also allows Miami to improve its depth at cornerback quicker, whether they want to or not. So I'm trying to take the positive spin on this, Bobby, and, it sucks. Yeah, it does suck. Our secondary was going to be second to none, and now we lost half of that dynamic duo. So it's going to hurt you no matter what you do. I mean, he was brought in for a reason. And I just really, I don't know, it hurts, man. It hurts as a Dolphins fan. And, my rage yesterday was the same as it's always been. Greer always picks up hurt players for big money. And this is just one of those examples of the past where in the past our players have gotten hurt that he's picked up, a lot of them.
Well, you can't control. But Ramsey has a history of staying healthy, though.
You can't control that at all. No, but I'm just saying picking up IR players all the time doesn't help either. Half the players that he picks up that we get that are free agents are coming off of an injury usually.
No, you're right.
So,
right
and that's why he gets them cheap. So,
right.
but unfortunately, it hasn't worked out so far. He's done that for years, and it hasn't worked out, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, but when Ramsey's case, he's actually been healthy most of his career. When you look at his numbers, it's like he missed very few games. So it's like, but in a lot of cases, though, you're exactly right. David Long, Deshaun Elliott, we bring in guys that had an injury history. But in Ramsey case, you're like, oh, we're finally bringing in a guy that plays all the time, and then he, gets the Dolphins and he gets hurt.
I mean, he was hurt last year too, and that's why I'm saying, that was his most recent injuries was 2021. I mean, in 2021 he was banged up, and it's and everybody said he lost a step after getting hurt like that and all that. So
right, he had a torn meniscus, same type injury in his right leg. Now it's his left leg. So my concern is this going to be an ongoing trend with a Jalen Ramsey, because he is getting up there in age. He's getting up there in a time where cornerbacks start to get hurt at that time, so that's my concern with Jalen Ramsey. But as Rob said, up until that point, this point, he's played, all the games, and he hasn't missed many games at all. Maybe one here or there, but for the most part, he's been a healthy cornerback. So I'm just concerned that maybe this is a trend, and I hope not, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I'll just say is that, as Rob has stated, is that with Ramsey, he has been fairly healthy throughout his career. Mm-hmm. That, what sucks is it did happen with Miami, this major injury, and it just started out. And I understand what Hank comes from. It's not like, oh, he signed a player who's always injured in Jalen Ramsey, but his history is that he does sign players with injuries. And then, of course, this one that he traded for gets injured, and is out for most of the season now. But I will say in the same breath is that Cam Smith draft pick doesn't look so bad anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean,
it looks damn good right now.
We can knock him there, but if you turn it around and you go, damn, well, he got Cam Smith, and our cornerback room doesn't look as bad as you think it would, because if it was the room of last year, or even and Ramsey went down, then you're looking at another situation of like Xavier Howard, who's healthy now, but then Kader Kohu, Nick Needham, and so Trill Williams. And then you're kind of like, okay, who's going to be cornerback 2? We know basically who may be cornerback 2, and that might be Cam Smith. So let me ask this. I'm going to start off with Steve. We'll move the fish tank, then Rob, okay? And you could go, be as short or explanatory as you want. But first, the first question to this is, what was your predicted record for the Dolphins before the injury?
11-6.
Okay, so I was 11-6. So I think Rob's 11-6, right, Rob?
Yeah.
And
15-2.
Okay, so let me ask you, Steve, starting with you. And again, short. If you want it to be short, like no, it doesn't, or yes, and why? Go for it. Oh, got a big head.
Don't get angry and throw things. It's your birthday.
It popped off my head. My head's so damn big, the thing flew off. Okay, and then fish ain't same with you, followed by Rob. But let's go start off with Steve. Steve, does losing Jalen Ramsey change your predicted win record right now?
I would say no. I'm going to stay firm with 11-6. And the reason why I'm saying that is I think Chris Grier is gonna be forced to go out, and he's gonna have to get another cornerback. And there's a lot of cornerbacks that are on free agency right now that have played with Vic Fangio. So I think he goes out, or he needs to go out, get another cornerback. We can't depend on a rookie, Cam Smith. We're playing the Los Angeles Chargers the first game of the year. Okay. We cannot depend on Cam Smith unless he steps up in the preseason. That time will tell. But I think he needs to go out, get another cornerback. Give some reps to Cam Smith, of course. Kader Kohu, he was a undrafted free agent last year. He played decent. Okay, he didn't play great. He wasn't elite. Played decent. The question is, can he continue with his trajectory up and play decent for us? Because losing Jalen Ramsey, a lot of folks don't understand. He was going to be the integral part. He was going to be the leader in that defense and that defensive backfield, or even the defense. He's an elite player, and losing an elite player on a team hurts. But I think that as I said, I think Chris Grier is going to have to go out, get a cornerback, a veteran cornerback that has played with Vic Fangio. May not be the elite guy that we want in like a Jalen Ramsey, but someone that can hold the fort until Ramsey comes back, or and possibly helps the other guys, bring them up to speed as well. So that's what I think we need to do.
All right, Fish Tank, is your win-loss record change at all?
Yeah, it changes. Yeah, absolutely it changes. I mean, the dynamics without him, it changes. I see us dropping a couple games. I haven't looked at the schedule to tell you which games we'd lose, because I had our defense beating
That's true.
top offenses is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And now you take him out of that picture and it changes quite a bit to me, for me anyway. So initially, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you we at least dropped 2 games without him. As far as what Steve was saying, I can understand what he's saying, but I totally disagree. And here's where I disagree, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go out and get a older guy that we don't really need with the depth that we have at cornerback for our backups. That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we already have it in those other 4 players. I think those other 4 players will be able to. Now, they cannot do the job that Ramsey can do, but I don't know of anybody out there right now that we can go get that can do a better job than those 4. That's all I'm saying. I just don't know that there's people out there right now that we can get that will do a better job than all 4 of those people we have, and that's where I'm at with it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's fair enough. My concern is we don't know what we got in Trill Williams. We don't know what we have in Cam Smith. We don't know what we have in Kader Kohu again this year. We saw him play last year. He played decent, but we don't know what we have in those guys. So when you go out and get a free agent and you get a veteran free agent, a guy that knows how to, it's been playing in the league 4, 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years, right? How long's Ramsey been playing? So, you go out and get a guy like that. It brings experience to the defensive backfield, and it helps. Maybe he doesn't start. Maybe he's a depth player, or but he can still help out those youngsters and bring them up to speed. That's my thinking.
Yeah.
But thinking, that's a fair point. You make a fair point, Hank.
Yeah. So my thinking is, I had said, because last year we won 9 games, I thought we improved, and one of those reasons I listed as an improvement was Ramsey, and Fangio being the biggest of the reasons I think we're going to improve. But with that said, even with losing Ramsey, I still is going to stay with, like Steve says, I'm still sticking at my 11-6 record to, for the Dolphins as we stand right now. We're early in camp, more stuff can happen, and we're really going to start changing our opinions. And we could sign people that we think, oh, wow, we got him, and that could actually improve us. Or we could lose people, unfortunately, because it is football, and then I could chart change them. But as of now, and as we stand here on July 28th, 2023, I'm sticking with my 11-6 record. And, we're going to make do. Fangio will have the system, he would get the best out of everyone that they can possibly do. So that's
let me ask you guys something. If they say that quarterback and cornerback are the two most important positions on the team. Obviously, cornerback is one of the more important ones for the defense. So you lose half of your most important guy, and you guys all think that we're not going to lose more games?
Well, I'll answer that real quick, and I know you, Rob, you wanted to chime in too. I know I'm butting in like I always do.
I'm used to it, Steve.
I'm just sitting quietly. I got mine. I'm holding mine.
Let's keep the tradition going.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
What I was gonna say, now I lost my train of thought, doggone it. Oh no. What I was gonna say is,
you've been up around my bird feeder. You better watch out.
I guess it must be Christmas over here too. No, what I was gonna say is,
Thank you, Moya.
What I was gonna say is, yes, quarterback and cornerback are the most important position, but I said 11-6. That's what I project Miami is going to do. And by losing Ramsey, I don't think we're going to lose another game or two. Now, if with your projection, Hank, you were what, 15-2?
Yeah.
Okay, I can see why you say we're going to lose another game or two, but because realistically, 11-6 is where we're going to be.
Where'd he go? There you go.
But what's going on, man? Oh,
Bobby and I. Okay, I'll let you do it, Bobby.
Oh,
Bobby.
Rob's getting triggered.
Trouble. Here comes trouble.
They don't have good internet in Canada, apparently.
What's up, Evan? My son.
What's going on, Evan?
I have 10 minutes. At his office. Is that your office or that's your home? That's your home, right?
That's
hey,
home.
man, you look
What's
like
up,
you
beautiful?
look like you got some Florida sun, man.
Of course I got Florida. But have you noticed? I'm not wearing my Dolphins gear. I'm hiding my Dolphins gear.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Of course I got
Evan,
Florida
we
sun.
never got to have lunch together when you were in South Florida. It stinks. I was really hoping to meet you in person.
I'll come back.
Yeah.
So, Adam, everyone tuning in. Anthony, I see you. Thank you. Evan, are you hearing the conversations?
I can hear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. What are your thoughts? First off, your reaction to Ramsey getting hurt.
Yes, I'm hearing the conversations. Briefly.
Did you hear my question?
What was your question?
Your reaction to Jalen Ramsey getting hurt.
I wasn't surprised.
You weren't surprised?
No, because that's the MO of the Dolphins. Someone always gets injured at the beginning of the year. So, like, when we talked about the whole Cam Smith thing, in the end, it turned out to be a great pick, right? For me, Jalen Ramsey going to this season for me was always considered a luxury piece for me, because we developed Kader Kohu, Xavier Howard came back healthy, and added other pieces. Yes, is he the stout number one quarterback we'd have on our team? By a country mile. But we brought in a coach in Vic Fangio, and you want to know what? If Jalen Ramsey is the reason why this defense, one player does not make up a team. And
true.
I would be more hurt if Tua was down for the year than Jalen Ramsey, because we don't have depth at quarterback. We have depth at cornerback, because right now Nick Needham is still healthy. So is Trent Williams. So is X. So is Javon Holland. So is Brandon Jones. So is Deshaun Elliott. So is Cam Smith. There's a guy at Minicam, I forget his name, who did very, very well with it for himself also. There's depth at corner. I would be more concerned if we lost Christian Wilkins, or we lost Zach Sealer, or we lost David Long.
I know a Jinx name, but
no. My point is, of all the positions, name me the position that you would have felt more comfortable losing a piece. We'd be more worried if Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill. The one area where we have multiple pieces, I'm not talking one or two stars. We have multiple players who can do the job at corner.
No, I agree.
We don't have that at any other position.
No,
offensive line. If we lost, we have 5 or 6 stars on this team. We have Teron Armstead. You can call Tua because he's the quarterback. You have Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and you have Christian Wilkins, Jalen Phillips, all that. But a lot of the positions, if you lose that one piece, you lose Jalen Phillips, we'd all be losing our mind, because he's growing into his role. If we lost X and Jalen Ramsey, then we'd have a big problem.
Okay.
But you still have X.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If we lost Armstead on the offensive line right now, one piece, like you've been saying, he's only one guy. What happens to our offense?
Then we lose 4 more games.
No, that's what he's saying.
No. The difference. No. Let me explain something.
Look what happened when one guy.
No, let me finish.
I forgot.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Back, Evan.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. He says the defensive backs are deeper than our offensive line.
Go ahead.
The difference is Isaiah Wynn. Because Isaiah Wynn is going to be the swing tackle. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two. There's enough time. Kendall Lamb is doing very well for himself. I really like him. He could also go play left tackle. So him and Wynn can actually play that role. But there's enough cap space right now with training camp coming that if Armstead could not start the season for 4 weeks or whatever it would be, they could still sign a left tackle that's either going to go get cut, who is still sitting there. There's still Taylor Lewan. There's other pieces of offensive line. The one area they don't have to go fill the cornerback position right now. They don't have to go do it. In any other position, they probably have to. Maybe not wide receiver because they think they could probably cobble with Chosen and Barrios if they have to lose Waddle or Hill for a game or two. But actually, of all the positions, receiver and corner are my least 2 positions that if we lose one piece of any of those positions, we could still be a successful football team.
Right.
That's my position. Offensive line, linebacker, D-line, and cornerback. Quarterback, D-line, linebacker, and those are an offensive line. Those are the areas we should be concerned if we lose a key piece. The other areas, forget about it. But offensive line, I believe in Kendall Lamb. I believe in that he was capable last year. The guy's an 8-year vet. So there's other pieces that can actually do the role. By the way, Bonafet, Freilichen Geburtstag, Yom Huledet, happy birthday, Bobby. You got happy birthday in 4 languages.
One thing I give kudos to Steve. He was actually able to chime in over Evan. The first time I've ever seen it in network history. I tried a couple of times and Evan just ignored me and kept on going. So
Evan's a little.
Steve, you got a knack, Steve. You're the one I get cut off.
No, it's that Florida sun, man. It that Florida sun just broke down.
Love you, son.
You came right in and made
I just
my
wanted to
point.
correct him on Nick Needham because Nick Needham's not considered healthy right now. And so I was just going to, but he wouldn't let me chime in on that.
Let me just say, because everybody kind of made a point, and I
want to make a prediction, by the way.
Okay, go ahead. You make a prediction.
The prediction is going to be that we don't know how long Ramsey's going to be out because until they go to the surgery, we don't know if it's going to be October, November, or worst case December. If it goes to December, someone like Cam Smith or Kader Kohu are basically going to shore up their position as the number 3. One of them is going to get it. And when Jalen Ramsey comes back, one of them is going to go straight to the slot. Like, that's the one thing about this is that it gives – you don't think Kader Kohu and Cam Smith are licking their chops right now saying, I can solidify myself on this team? Because what they have to realize, and Steve, I'm going to give you credit for this one too, is at the end of next season, if Kohu and Smith show what they are, we don't have to re-sign X. X is probably done at the end of the year. So this is actually an opportunity that we have to look at. That we don't want to lose Ramsey, but this gives it creates so much more competition because right now Cam Smith and Kader Kohu were fighting for 3-4. Now they're potentially fighting for 1 next year. Mm-hmm. That's the key to me. And now X, no offense, X is now realizes, whoa, I better go. And he's actually, I don't know if you read what he said in his press conference. Kohu, people are saying, watch out for this kid. He looks mean, he looks feisty, and this kid wants to kill someone. He looks phenomenal.
Sounds good, Josh. We'll be here, brother.
I got to go in a minute, but if I'm done my call in 15 minutes, I'll jump back in. I just have to jump on a conference call.
That's okay. I appreciate you coming. Yeah.
Yeah, good to see you again, man.
Bandwagon is back. Bandwagon's back next Thursday.
We can tell. We can tell.
You're ready. You're all jived up. Let me just say this, because
I have all my gear, by the way. I swear, I've never.
It's your birthday. We don't allow you to talk on your birthday, Bobby.
Apparently.
I'll jump back out. I'll be back soon.
Bobby, you talk.
I'll be back in a few.
Time now. We're coming in and talking on you.
I'm saying.
Well, Evan's leaving now. We all got time to talk.
Gone.
So. Okay, so let me go ahead and say, since you got 11-6, 11-6. 15-2, but possibly 13-3 or whatever it is, or 13-4. I'm sticking with 11-6. Last year, I predicted 10-7, much to Fish Tank's angst. He was like 10-7 with a cornerback room of Xavier Howard, an absent Byron Jones, a Trill Williams who was injured, Nick Needham.
Yeah, your prediction came right because half our team was injured. Yes.
Okay, but my point is,
what's your point?
My point is 10-7. They came in a win less at 9-8. Okay, they got better even past Jalen Ramsey. I'm sticking with 11-6 without Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah,
because I believe this team is has the talent to overcome that loss. And to me, his trade, his signing was the same as if we were to go and get a Dalvin Cook. It's a luxury. It wasn't a necessity, and especially after you added a Cam Smith in the draft. So losing him sucks, but it's not a season ending for the Dolphins. It doesn't mean
it's not season ending, but those close games you were going to win,
I get what you're saying.
Lose.
I think it's fair, and you know what? Well, I'm proud of you, Fish Tank, because I think that's a realistic approach that you have to Ramsey's injury.
But Hank's record still comes in ahead of our records because he says like
still 13-2.
That's right.
He's still at 13-4. 13-4, you mean?
13-4,
yeah.
Yeah, well, you know me. I was on the bird feeder.
Yeah, I know. So you're still at 13-4. Last year, Buffalo, won the division with 13 wins. So and
I saw Miami winning the division and all that last year. I definitely see it this year with Vic Fangio. And like Evan had mentioned, Bobby and Rob and Steve, I'm used to talking to just Bobby or one person.
Yeah, I know.
So my apologies, man. And no, I just think that it would have been much better going further, with Ramsey. And like I said, he would have made the difference in those tight games that I was giving us, because there was a couple coin tossers in there that I gave us. And, does that mean we can't beat the Kansas City Chiefs? No, that's not what that means. I still think we have a better defense than they have on an offense. So I still believe that. So, but which two games were going to fall, I don't know. But I know I had a couple that were really close, and I always pick my home team if they're close. And that's why my numbers generate higher. And I don't mind generating the higher numbers, because when I'm right, everybody's going to be happy about it. Nobody's going to care what the record is, because we're all going to be sitting there smacking fives saying, all right, Super Bowl time. So it's not going to matter.
And hey, I agree with you 100%, man. At the end of the day, it's going to be fun, though. As camp keeps on going on, we hear more and more stuff. Let's just keep the fingers crossed that no more names go out, because then my 11 is going to start shrinking down.
That's a big fingers crossed.
Yeah, so that's the main thing. So before we forget, Mr. Tight End speaking, Bobby. Julian Hill, what are you hearing about on Julian Hill? Let's switch to some positive news in Dolphins camp. So,
yeah, Julian Hill. We'll get back, because I was just going to get to Anthony's comments, but get to Julian Hill. Man, look, we've been wondering. The tight end has been a topic of conversation all offseason, just like the offensive line, just like the running back situation, and just like the quarterback situation. Even though we are set at quarterback at this time. Tight end, Gesicki, I picked him last year to have the most touchdowns. I expected him to take advantage of the fact that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were with him. He was a no-show, and maybe not his fault. Maybe it just didn't fit the scheme. Well, he's gone. He's with the Patriots. He's doing little pictures. They look ugly. He doesn't look good. He looks like he does not belong there, but I can't judge him. But he's with the Patriots now, and we're sitting here wondering who's going to be our next tight end. More than likely, our starting tight end will be the same as it was last year. Surprising to some, but our starting tight end was not Mike Gesicki most of the season. It was Durham Smythe. Yep. Durham Smythe is still on the roster. Why is Durham Smythe your starter? Well, he blocks. He fits. That's what McDaniel wants, because McDaniel is more of a run game type guy, even though he was an 80-20 passing over running.
Well, actually, that's not right. It's not 80-20. It was 60-40.
Well, it's supposed to be 60-40.
No, it was 60-40.
Was it 60-40?
Yes. 80-20 was, yeah, it was 60-40. Look up the stats. I'm pretty sure it was 60-40.
Well, they need to be better than that. They go 50-50. Hey, Miss Finn's in the house.
I agree 100%. 50-50 all the way.
Fins up, Miss Finn.
What I'll say is this. Gesicki he could have, if he was involved, probably had better numbers. I don't blame him for having the numbers he had last year. A lot of people do. Wasn't on him. It was on the system. Now we look and go, okay, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you, Miss Fins. We wonder, okay, who's going to be that next guy? Who's going to be the guy who could be that receiving threat? I talked about Tyler Kroft. Fish Tank has talked about
Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's in the house.
Travis Kelce's in the house. Oh, what's up, Travis?
Man? Hey, Travis. What's up, brother?
What's up, my man? Quick, I'm on a work site. I just want to hop on for like 2 minutes. I'm sorry to interrupt. Just want to wish you a happy birthday. Love you from here. Beautiful, not sunny Miami with thunderstorms every day. I want to gratitude in the name of the whole network. You've given us a voice. You've given us an opportunity to express our expert and unexpert opinions. So I just want to show much love today. Love you. I'll call you later. Guys, much love. I got to go. Just want to say hi.
Love you, brother. Talk to you later.
Thanks for joining in, Al.
Take care, my man.
That's Alex. That's my brother. I grew up with him in Hialeah on East 10th Street. Man, 30-plus years of friendship right there.
Wow.
30-plus years, man.
Amazing.
But we've been wondering who's going to be that guy. Who's going to be our receiving threat tight end? And like I said, I brought up Kroft. Some people bring up Subert or whatever his name is. I know Evan will get on us. Fish Tank has brought up Tanner Connor. The one name that hasn't been brought up is an undrafted free agent named Julian Hill.
Yeah.
Well, here's the shocker. He's kicking butt. And the Dolphins organization have their attention on him. Tony Pauline of sportskedia.com and I think Pro Football Insider or Focus or whatever it is. I love his draft talk. I mean, his rumors. He's usually right on the money. So he has inside information in regards of inside the organizations. Right. And this is what he's saying. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the headline is Dolphins training camp 23 beast tight end emerging as Gesicki's replacement. Beast tight end. That intrigues me. But he says, let me go ahead, talk about losing. Talk about Tyler Kroft, Eric Subert. But he talks about those guys as options. But then he goes, yet sources have told me that the player to watch when training camp opens is Julian Hill, an undrafted free agent out of Campbell University. He entered his senior year at Campbell, ignored by scouts, but he went on to catch 38 passes for 659 yards, which was a 17.3-yard average with 5 touchdowns. Uninvited to the combine last March, Hill was one of the stars of North Carolina State's Pro Day when he performed for scouts. At 6'3", 5", and 245 pounds, Hill clocked in at 4.65 seconds in the 40 and 6.3 seconds in the 3-cone and touched 34.5 inches at the vertical jump. He completed bench preps of 21 and measured at 33 inches. Miami coaches have been super impressed with Hill during the offseason workouts. His movement, skills, athleticism, fluidity have caught their eye. As one source close to the organization has told me, after watching Hill's film, then seeing him in person, quote unquote, he'll be a beast once he puts on the pads. He's been described to me as a different type of athlete with an NFL body. While there may be bumps in the road early on for Hill, the belief in the organization as they move towards the opening of camp is that the undrafted rookie has a real chance to make the active roster and see playing time this season. That's huge news.
No,
that's good to hear.
Yeah, good
that's
stuff.
Good to hear.
Good
so
stuff.
What do they do with Higgins?
Eli Higgins is
practice squad.
Here's what I heard about Eli Higgins. He hasn't really shown much. He's dropped a lot of balls. At least that's what I'm hearing from people that had eyes in the practices. yeah, he hasn't shown much really, and for that matter, A-Chain hasn't really shown much, and it's still early. He's shown he can catch out of the backfield and that kind of stuff, and he has bursts of speed, but nothing, highlight reels or anything as yet. Now that's, and here's another thing. We're talking about Cam Smith. Since we're on the subject, we were on that subject there earlier. He got beat on a 60-yard touchdown by a Skylar Thompson pass. Braxton Berrios, 68-yard touchdown pass from Skylar Thompson. He got beat. Now, every cornerback gets beat. I got it. Every cornerback gets beat in the league, but some get beat more than others. Now, he's still a rookie. He's still developing, so that's just something to watch, and he's going to be playing against better wide receivers than Braxton Berrios and quarterbacks. So I'm just saying that's why I'm a little concerned, but not the only reason why. The big reason is he's still a rookie. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just had to throw that out.
That's fine, and you're right though. He is a rookie, and it is the start of camp, and you would hope he gets if he gets beat by Braxton Berrios, that helps him doesn't get beat.
Exactly, that's a good experience. The other, for him, right?
Exactly. He learns, okay, this is what I got to do next time when this guy makes this cut or passes me here. It's a good experience. Have it happen now before the start.
Exactly.
Especially if you're going to start in place of Jalen Ramsey. For me, I think our fan base looks too much into training camp. Sometimes I want to see how they perform with pads on during the season, not during pads in training camp. That's fair. That's fair. But that's how the teams judge their players too.
No, they do.
And that's your only way of looking at football. I want to say, and again, I see Miss Finn's in here, and I'm just so happy to see her. Guys, go check out her channel if you haven't before. I'm sure you have. She's just too damn popular. Miss Finn's in the house. Finn's up. And I will say again, if you're watching for the first time and you're new to the channel, this is a special show episode. That's why it's called Finn's Talk with Bobby. You usually catch me closer to on Saturdays. You catch me on Saturdays with Fish Tank Hank on Finn's Talk today, which will air tomorrow. But I'm off this weekend because it is my birthday today. Fish Tank Hank will be joined by Rob Mosley of DolphinsThirsty.com to bring you Finn's Talk today. And if you're new to the channel, or if you've been watching the channel but you have never done it before, and you want to get me a birthday present, subscribe to the channel. That'd be awesome. That'd be a great birthday present. I believe we're at 898, so we're 2 from 900, 102 from 1,000. So we're going. What's up, Shake Money? Good to see you. Sorry,
Bobby, I hit the wrong thing there. I was trying to get the comment.
You did. Oh my God, I'll change it. That's not till tomorrow, folks.
Yeah, I was doing the promo for you.
Oh, there you go. But so let me ask you, Fish Tank. Oh, Finn's Tailgate in the house. Great to see you, brother. Miss Finn's, I got you.
Finn's up.
You got to take care of that. Get Miss Finn's in here. That'd be awesome to hear from her, get her point of view. But Fish Tank, as I'm doing that, I'm getting that to Miss Finn's. Your thoughts on Julian Hill, brother? I know we talked about Tanner Connor. We talked about Taylor Croft. So we're hearing Julian Hill. I love the idea of an undrafted free agent, somebody we're not looking at, the league did not look at, having himself so far a very good offseason and catching the eyes of the organization. What are your thoughts on Hill, Fish Tank?
You talking about fluidity and a few other things in there, Bobby. And it sounds like we're talking about only his receiving and abilities, and we're not talking about his blocking abilities yet. I didn't hear them mention anything about his blocking, which is the biggest thing that we're concerned with.
Of course, for the tight end, that's what we need, man. We need that.
Yeah, we're looking for an all-around tight end, right?
So is this person all around, or are they just lighting it up and doing what Gesicki used to do? Because if they're doing what Gesicki used to do, then no. But this is the beginning of training camp. A lot of people stand out in the beginning and fart out later. Not saying this is going to happen to this guy. I'm just saying my expectations are low at this point in time.
Oh, of course, as it should be. Even if we drafted him in the first round, because tight ends is one of the toughest positions to learn. And then you're coming in as an undrafted guy, so you're even farther down the list. But I agree that it's good to hear that good reports. Rather hear good reports than bad reports.
Did you hear the 21 bench presses? Guess what that means? That means he's not very strong. That's
True.
what I'm concerned
That's
about.
true.
That means that how's he going to block? Those are the things that came into my mind when you were talking about all of it, Bobby, was what's his blocking ability? How's he going to line up on our offensive line and protect Tua? That's what I care about.
But they said he has a body built for the NFL, he did say, too.
He says.
I listen to the positive stuff.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this very quick. Tanner Connor, Tyler Kroft. Breakout season, record-breaking season if you were Tanner Connor for Fish Tank, and a decent season if you were Tyler Kroft for me. We knew when we were talking about that it's Durham Smythe is your blocking tight end.
Yeah.
When we look at those guys, we're not looking at those guys as blockers at that point. We're looking at those guys as weapons, okay? And we would hope that Tanner Connor, maybe Julian Hill, if it actually goes that way, performs, or that McDaniel says, hey, we got to use these tight ends better. We need to open up those weapons because we can't just rely on Hill and Waddle because after 8-3 in that part of the season, the defense has figured that out. They said, oh, those are the guys they're going to be going to. So now we need to focus. Let's get that tight end involved. Let's get that running game involved, which was 60-40, according to Steve. We need, we're going to touch on Dalvin Cook. And how, I would love to have a Dalvin Cook, but people forget that Raheem Mostert, who's played the whole season when Miami, was at 900-plus yards last year. That's why Mike McDaniel, who was just commenting on this situation, he was having his press conference. McDaniel, when asked about Miami's level of interest in Cook, he said, quote unquote, right now, I'm extremely happy with our running back group. Dalvin Cook is a great player. He's a free agent, and he's visiting the Jets. He's not going to come out straight out and want him. But what he is saying here is, and which we've all kind of figured out, everybody kind of figured this out, Ramsey down has me in dumps, can't have nice things down there in the 305. And it sucks. It sucks. It does suck for Jalen Ramsey and as Dolphin fans because not having Ramsey, who is one of the best, if not the best at his position, coming down right when it starts, it sucks. But we talk about Chris Greer signing players who get hurt, even though this is his first time getting hurt. The Cam Smith deal looks better. The tight end, we lose Gesicki. Who's going to be our tight end? Washington, Darnell Washington. He's up. He's there. He's available to us. And we go on and take Cam Smith. Now look how it kind of plays out. And then Julian Hill. This guy could, if he's making that type of noise, we'll see how he does in training camp and in preseason, but I take it as a positive. We'll touch more on Dalvin Cook in just a moment, but I think as a weapon fish tank, that's good because he might not have big numbers, but just to be available and to be a decent weapon for Miami will be a plus, especially since he's an undrafted.
Hey, I'm usually taking the positive side on everything, Bobby. You know that. But I'm looking at the overall player, and I didn't hear anything about his blocking.
That's right. I hear you. And
that's all I'm saying.
I get it.
Is he a complete tight end, or is he a pass catcher?
From what I'm hearing, yes, he's a complete tight end. But, of course, again, we don't have eyeballs on him yet because he's an undrafted rookie coming from a smaller school. But from what I'm hearing, yes, he is capable of being an all-around.
Gosh, I hope not. I hope they're not running around in their underwear.
Run around their underwear without pads right now. But Bobby, I totally hear you. And yes, any movement in our tight end room is good, is a positive thing. I'm not discounting that whatsoever. I'm just taking the fact that this guy's blowing up all of a sudden because it's still training camp. When we get into the preseason, that's when we're going to see who can do what. That's when I start actually looking at what the players are really doing is preseason, because the rest of it is all just hopes and dreams before that. And a lot of people come into the NFL with hopes and dreams that get smacked around. And I don't know what's going to happen to this kid if he's only doing 21 bench.
Yeah. Well, we shouldn't expect too much. I want to get Wingate in here. And first off, hey, Josh, what's up, brother? Good to see you.
How's it going? Happy birthday.
I appreciate you. Thank you, brother. Yeah. And maybe just say to little Megan, my niece out there, says happy birthday, Uncle Bobby. I love you. I love you too, sweetheart. Thank you for watching. I thought I sent you the invite, Miss Fins. I got you. Hold on. But your thoughts on this, Wingate, what you've been hearing, anything from the Cam Smith, Jalen Ramsey situation, Julian Hill. I know you follow some of the draft, so if you had to touch on that, because he was an undrafted free agent, what are your thoughts about what we're discussing so far?
Well, yeah, the Jalen Ramsey situation is kind of rough for me. I feel like there's a lot of injuries happening right now around the league in general. So it's just rough to see one of the top players, someone that the Dolphins are so excited to have on their team, and someone that's supposed to open up the entire defense with his abilities. It's rough to see going into training camp that he's already hurt. He's not going to be there. The team's not going to be able to mesh well, and especially with a new defensive scheme coming in, it's just they're not going to mesh together. And it always takes a new defensive scheme to work 5-6 weeks until it's running at full capacity, and without one of your star players in there, and probably the most talented player on the defense potentially, he's just not there to help that defense move forward. And it's just I don't know what this is going to mean for the defense. Ultimately, one player shouldn't make an entire defense, but we've seen that happen. As a Cowboys fan, I know years in the past, Sean Lee, if we ever lost him in our defense just went to crap. So just curious to how this defense is going to move forward in learning and meshing together as a unit without him. Potentially, I think I saw he was out maybe potentially a couple weeks beginning of the season. So we'll see where that goes. Maybe he'll heal quicker than normal, but it'll be interesting to see how this defense moves forward.
Well, thank you, Josh, by the way. This is the first time I've seen your shows and stuff. Yeah. I don't think I've ever been in a panel with you. So thank you, man, for joining Bobby's birthday here today. But you're our NFL all-around guy. What's the latest? Anything that's broken today on Joe Burrow, or is he just still unknown?
I think it's still a little bit unknown. I haven't really went through Twitter too much today, but I feel like he'll be fine. A couple weeks they might let him. Actually, some stuff might have just came through. Oh no, never mind. That's someone else. Kimmel shared something to get me all excited.
I was just wondering. I mean, we're a Dolphin show. I was just wondering because that's even bigger news than the Ramsey news, of course, around the NFL.
Well, I thought it was just a strain. It looked like it was just a strain.
Yeah, I think it was just a strain, but I feel like the Ramsey, in my opinion, I might just be because I'm in a Dolphins network and my wife's a Dolphins fan. I feel like that's a little bigger news than Joe Burrow's strain right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. If it's just a strain, yeah.
And Josh, you make some good points, if I may add. He was going to be a dynamic player on this defense and a very integral part. But here's the thing I'm concerned with too, and I hate to be the Debbie Downer on this stuff, but I got to be realistic.
No, you don't.
I got to be realistic. Call it negative, whatever. But I've been called worse. Just don't call me late for dinner. But the basic point I want to make is you see how Xavier Howard struggled last year without Byron Jones. And my thing was I was very excited that we had Jalen Ramsey because now that takes a lot of the pressure off X, and now he's down and now it's back on X's back again. And X didn't handle it well that last year very well, and he even admitted it himself. So it's going to be a domino effect. I know it's one player and it shouldn't happen like this, but it's going to be a domino effect for this whole defense. You're going to look at X struggling, and now the front four, remember, it is a new scheme, and it's not the same zero blitz, type scheme that we were playing last year. So now you're going to put more pressure on the front four as well.
Let me just say very quick before we welcome Miss Fins in the house. What's up, Miss Fins? How are you? Good to see you, my friend.
Hey, guys.
What's up, girl? Let me just say very quick. I'm just in regards to that, and then we'll let Miss Fins talk, is that I think no injuries, especially of this magnitude, is a blessing. But it's a blessing in disguise it happened now because of what you're saying. Because it's we're in camp. It's not like it's in preseason or even the regular season where they have to try to figure this out now, and that the front seven has this pressure on them now. They have time to adjust to this loss right now. It's still the start of camp, gives them time to adjust to that, gives Cam Smith or whoever's going to be the number 2 time to adjust to being in that spot. It happened earlier. Right. It's better to happen now than it would be at the start because it gives your time.
Absolutely.
Vic Fangio and company time to adjust and rebuild that defense before moving it out. But now let's get to Miss Fins. What's up, Miss Fins?
Hey, guys. Welcome. You guys can hear me?
We hear you good, girl.
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Listen, I just wanted to take a minute and say happy birthday, Bobby. I've known you now for over a year. It's been amazing. I mean, what you're doing here with the channel and Finstock Sports Network is phenomenal, and I know it's going to be bigger and better things. So I just wanted to come here and say happy birthday, and I wish you many, many blessings to you, your family, lots of happiness, love, and everything else. Money. Definitely wishing you nothing but the best, man. And it's nothing but love from Miss Fins. And I can't wait to have you again on the show because you just bring that awesomeness to the show. So thank you so much for having me up here. And I just wanted to say happy birthday. That's pretty much it.
Thank you, dear. I appreciate it. Much love to you. You know that. I appreciate you, and I'm happy that you're here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys, if you haven't yet, go to her channel, subscribe. She's there mostly every morning, very early, 8
a.m.
8 a.m. And then you can follow Rob at 10 a.m. usually on the weekdays. So there's your morning.
There you go.
Usually I'm not on the mornings. Those two are. But I'm off today because it's my birthday. And I was like, I want to try something different. And that's why we're doing this today. So very cool. But Miss Fins,
there you go.
Here. I appreciate you.
Love you guys. See ya.
Good to see you, Miss Fins.
Hi, Miss Fins. Thank you for joining.
So cool. So dang cool and so nice. That's humbling, man. That's humbling. But let's touch a little bit on Dalvin Cook, okay? The big story, of course, for yesterday for Dolphin fans is, of course, Jalen Ramsey getting hurt. But before that, the big story is when we were waking up and opening up our phones, Dalvin Cook is flying to New York. He's flying to go talk to the Jets, and that's
where he's going to stay.
Well, that's usually how it goes, right? When somebody goes to visit, they don't leave the building. So
I don't like going against Dalvin Cook a couple times a year either.
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate you. I will, if that's Alexandra Melendez, if that's my sister, I will call you after the show. I promise. But Fish Tank, when you woke up or when you opened your phone and you saw Dalvin Cook flying to the Jets to meet with them, your initial reaction, sir?
Yeah, you just heard it. I think he's with the movement of the money from Aaron Rodgers to sign people and everything else, it's pretty much a done deal at this point in time. They're not looking at bringing anybody else in, are they? What other reason is he giving them money?
Aaron Rodgers, yeah, that's right.
Exactly. 35
million. I mean, who have a nice quote about the Dolphins today still. So, he's still
well, he obviously wants to play for the Dolphins. We know that, right?
Yeah.
But they're not going to pay him.
But they're not giving him the money he wants. That's what it is. And
that's for sure.
What's up, Lyle? Steve, what about you, man? Did it push you anyway, or did you go, whatever?
As far as what? As far as getting
Dalvin Cook going to the Jets and possibly us not signing him?
I'm happy we didn't sign him. That's just my 2 cents.
Go for it, brother. Tell us.
I never advocated for him. I think we're set with the running back room we have. I think McDaniel has good chemistry with Jeff Wilson and Mostert. I think we're just fine. The problem is we didn't run the ball enough last year. Both Jeff Wilson and Mostert were 12th in the league, 12th in the NFL with yards per carry. So I don't think we're going to miss Dalvin Cook at all. And number 2, and I said this on the Real Talk Vince Talk the other day. The disclaimer out there: this is nothing. This is not the opinion of the Finstock Talk Sports Network. I do not want a thug in our locker room, period. Whether he did it or not is not the case. It's the allegations, and he didn't admit to not doing it. And in fact, in his deposition, he did admit to doing it. And he also offered the young lady $800,000 at first and then $1 million. So to me, that's admitting guilt. We don't need that. We've already had the incident with Tyreek Hill. I think that's enough, drama for the Miami Dolphins in the locker room. We don't need any of that. So, and again, I wasn't advocating for him even before we heard anything about it, and I'm not advocating him. Definitely not now.
Hey, no, that's fair enough. And I do agree with you on our running back. I like our running back room, and I obviously know McDaniel, it made to be his own detriment, his own default. He's definitely loyal to Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson. He brought them both over from the 49ers. They were both able to leave this year. He kept them both in the house. And I think maybe, we would see if that loyalty pays off, which I'm hoping it does. Or, if it backfires, say, no, maybe he was too loyal to them and we should have gone and improved the running back room. But, Devon A-Chain, is, we drafted him.
Yes.
So, I think we're good at the running back room. I do agree with you. To me, when I want help adding depth along the defensive line, because behind our interior defensive line, we're kind of weak after.
Yeah.
You got Kristen Wilkins, you got Raheem Davis, and you got Sealer. But after that, there's a lot of question marks, and there's like, if these guys something goes down, then you're really scrambling for help at that point. So I agree with you. I like the running back room. Cook would have been a luxury, throwing his off-field incidents off the record, just from a football player standpoint. He would have been an improvement in the running back room, of course. But with that said, I think, McDaniel really loves Wilson and Mostert.
Yeah. You guys left out going against him, though.
Hey guys, I gotta roll out. But I want to say goodbye to everybody. And Bobby, happy birthday, brother. I appreciate you again. You just have a blessed day. God bless you. And take care, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, Steve.
You as well.
Hands up. And Dolphins #1.
Yeah, he was supposed to say Dolphins. Oh,
yeah, I know.
So my question around that would be, if bringing Dalvin Cook is going to stop anyone from accelerating their talent or being able to produce on the field. So my thought process was Devin A-Chain. What is he going to do? He's the exciting player right now coming in. If you bring in Dalvin Cook, is that going to stop his progression in this offense and on this roster? Because if you do feel like he will, I wouldn't want to bring him in. I want someone. I want to be able to have my younger talent just have the ability to come in here and produce and do the things that we expect them to do. And if Dalvin Cook doesn't allow that to happen,
exactly, 100%,
you can't have him coming to this roster and stop that younger talent from doing something.
I think that's absolutely fair. I think it's true. And I mean, right now, McDaniel's comments, and before the show, I was telling Rob, a lot of people, when Dalvin Cook was going to the Jets, you read the comments on Twitter and everybody starts hammering on Greer. And look, I'm the first one. I mean, I've been on Greer for a little bit, but just for other reasons. But I said, listen, if the Dolphins are not offering Cook that money, they're not rushing to bring him in, or they're saying, hey, we could give you $4 million, and really it's just icing on the cake. It's not really, because I do believe in the running back room. You're looking at the wrong person. You shouldn't be blaming Greer. You're looking at the wrong guy. I'm not saying to blame this guy, but Mike McDaniel's the reason why they're not going to breaking the bank on Dalvin Cook, because he believes in his running back room. He does, he believes in Raheem Mostert. He believes in Jeff Wilson. He believes in A-Chain.
If he really wanted Cook, we would have Cook.
And I'm thinking too that he probably, hey, look, give him $4 million. If he says yes, okay, it's an extra back, and it's a good back. But if we don't get him, we're going to be fine. And Greer said, all right, hey, I'll throw a contract. He wants to come to us, but if he wants to come, he's going to have to come on the cheap.
Cook was always a luxury for Miami. Since the beginning they started talking about Cook, he's been nothing but a luxury for Miami. We all knew that. We all knew that he was going for a big contract. See, the only part I don't like is he's an 1,100-yard back, and we now have to play against him. That's all I care about.
I know, but the Jets are already pretty stacked up there too. So because if Hall comes back, I don't know what his status is, but I know he's.
It must not be that good if they're looking at bringing in another running back.
I know. So, but
because he's one heck of a running back, Hall.
Oh no, he is. But the one thing that Josh said is definitely real. It's time for the Dolphins to start hitting on some of these rookies and being loyal to some of these rookies because it's the cheapest NFL talent you're going to get. It's on their rookie contracts. And we've already got Tyreek Hill that we had to trade for and give a bag of money. We had to trade for Chubb and give him a bag of money. We want to pay Wilkins eventually. So, and then we gave Ramsey, who's hurt now. We gave him a lot of upfront money for how when we worked the deal. So there's a lot of money. So bringing in Cook, just another veteran that you're going to pay bigger money to than you can get from a third-round draft pick. Hopefully, and it's a lot cheaper production moving forward for the next couple of years.
Yeah, Bobby, I wanted you to know I had a Chubb on for your birthday. All right.
Oh, that's nice.
So
glad I could do that for you, my friend.
All right, Bobby, I gotta go, bro.
Go ahead,
Fish Tank. Come in and take a little bit of your time and wish you a happy birthday, my friend. We've been doing this for a little while, and hopefully we continue to do it.
And I see you tomorrow on the same channel.
That's right, everybody.
Yes, sir.
You can catch Fish Tank Hank and Rob Dolphins Thirsty on Finn's Talk today, tomorrow. They're going to talk Tua's 83rd best player in the NFL, voted by his peers. Can anybody argue that when his peers voted for him? Wingate, hold your tongue. Don't mess with it, Wingate. Hold on.
I can remove Josh right now. I'm part of the, but he can put himself right back on.
I can put myself back in.
That's right.
Josh is ready to just
he's ready
to know how it was, Bobby.
And they talk on that. They got so much to talk about. And of course, and in regards to Tua, hey, we touched on this last year, but maybe a bigger chance this year. Wingate, cover your ears. Does he have a legit shot at MVP this season? I know Wingate and Kimmel kind of debated that a little bit the other night. So you guys, if you want to get in that conversation, tune in tomorrow. Fish Tank Hank and Rob on the show at 12 o'clock Eastern.
Nice to meet you, Josh.
Yeah, you as well.
All right, homeboy.
See you tomorrow, Fish Tank.
No, I won't see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, Rob.
Yes, you will.
I'll see you.
Yeah, you'll watch me. I know.
He will come for a view.
Away from it.
I'll pop in and write in the comments. You know me. Later, brother.
All right. Peace out, everyone. Happy birthday, Bobby.
Thank you, brother. Bye. There you go, Fish Tank Hank. And let's go to fix this up here.
There you go.
There you go. How do you like that? Ain't that cool? Ain't that cool?
That looks cool.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you.
Love the Dolphins logo over there.
Yes, I did that myself. I kind of played around with it. Made a helmet, put the helmet on him, and I was like, oh, that's our Finn's Talk Today logo. But I just took Finn's Talk Today out and just left it there. So, but my goodness, I'm watching here, and supposedly Jalen Phillips was hurt too. Some kind of thing I was just reading up on. And
they said he pulled something or whatever. He has a strain or something too. I know.
There's a lot of those going around right now.
It's crazy.
Strains.
Yeah.
Josh, what is there anything really the NFL could do to avoid this? I mean, when you have players like Jalen Ramsey, Joe Burrow, your star guys going out so early in camp, I mean, that sucks. Is there any way really to avoid that? I saw people commenting about that on Twitter.
I feel like the new rules where you have limited amount of time where you can actually train is affecting these players and making them hurt in the long run because you don't have that ability to ramp up camp. You have to go in immediately and just start right away. And then that's just a shock on all the muscles, the joints, all of these. It's just, I don't like how the rules are. I understand it. It's a way for players to not feel as demanded in camp, but I also feel like, again, like you have to immediately go and you don't have that chance to prepare the muscles for getting into camp and things of that nature. So I feel like if you were able to ramp up camp rather than just immediately jump in, you'd be better in that situation.
No, I agree because they've changed a lot over the years. Remember, they used to have 2-a-days with pads during, there'd be a morning practice and an afternoon practice and used to pound the, heck out of each other. So, I mean, they've taken a lot of steps that way. Sorry, I have to look at my phone. My son's on the road from Gainesville, heading home from college to start his summer because he's been doing an internship. So when he's on the road, I got to keep my phone on, So, but anyway, to me, it's just the NFL's taken a lot of steps. I mean, back in the day, Joe Rose and all they used to say that Shula would run them racket all the time, do 2-a-days, and if he even got mad enough, he would make them do a third practice during the day. So, I think they've taken a lot of steps. They even limit the hitting, but like Josh said, some of the steps they've taken may actually come back to be a detriment because they're doing it to try to help them, but they're not doing it as much. So then when they do it, like Josh says, it's more of a shock.
Yeah, well, while limiting the hitting can be effective, but also the conditioning part to this game, there's some players that come out here, they're not conditioning in the off season. Let's be honest. So conditioning those players into camp and into whatever, it's just going to affect their joints and their muscles and their bones and all of that, because I don't care what anyone says. Conditioning in football to any other sport is just completely different. And if your body's not ready for it, it's going to be a shock. And anytime you shock your body, it's going to get hurt. So,
yeah, it's true. It's true. Josh, let me ask you this, because I haven't gotten this, and maybe you've brought this up on Beer and Sports, and everyone tuning in, if you haven't seen it, Monday nights on the Finstock Sports Network, you can catch Josh Wingate and Josh Kimmel on the Beer and Sports podcast, and they start at 8:15. Is that right? 8:15, and they talk about everything. I mean, NFL, anything on sports that's a hot topic. Man, and this is what I love. I mean, it was exciting for me when they did it. Was that they even had some paranormal investigators on there, so you don't know what you could catch on it.
No, they have a really great show, man. They have great
show. That and Once Upon a Sunday, and I mean this, and I
we don't need to promote his show. He promotes his stuff enough.
Dude, every time I'm in a group chat with them, and all they do is just keep throwing stuff out there. And of course, they jinxed Joe Burrow yesterday. They said something to me in the morning with Joe Burrow's picture saying breaking or developing, and then of course later that afternoon injured. I'm like, dude, it was Justin Burley. I forget how to pronounce his last name. Bowerly. He jinxed him. So I'm like, you better not post anything else about. I hope you don't post anything about Miami. But if everyone watching, if you haven't, first off, again, thank you for tuning in. Finstock Sports Network. Smash that like and subscribe button. But Monday nights, 8:15, we got two great shows. And I don't want to promote, I'm not going to say it like that for my show, but I will say it. But we got great shows that if just sports in general, but also fun talk, life talk, everything else. Started off with Beer and Sports with Josh Wingate and Kimmel. And then following them at 9 o'clock is East Century Boys with Alex and myself. And I mean, we go off about cereal. Of course, we talk Heat, Dolphins, whatever.
That cereal conversation, I was all in on that.
Yeah, that's when the show gets fun. And it's funny because all of a sudden the views start to kind of pick up, or people start to really get into it, and just talk. That's what's cool when you start talking about life. But Josh, forgive me if you have already brought this up before, but I know you guys had debated about 2-on MVP. But I want to ask you, have you had a chance to look at Miami's schedule? And do you have a prediction on how they're going to do this year in regards of wins and losses?
I haven't had a full chance to look at the schedule.
Here, I could pull it up for you. Let me see.
Let's pull that up. I do know around Christmas you guys are going to lose. Is it Christmas? Yeah.
Well, thanks. Take your time, bro.
I do know that. Christmas Eve, to be exact.
I don't know. The Dolphins are wearing their throwbacks that game.
Oh, the Cowboys. That's why. That's awesome.
We're gonna have our magic in those throwbacks.
But Dallas does have a tough back-to-back game stretch there, where they have, I believe, Buffalo, and then we go. So we're in Buffalo, and then we go to Miami, to play back-to-back road games. So that's going to be a tough stretch for us.
Stretch, absolutely.
But overall, looking at your schedule right now, I think Denver is going to be a lot better than what people are anticipating. But I feel like, this is a pretty tough schedule in my opinion.
It is the second toughest schedule in the NFL, based off projections, percentage, whatever you can call it. Let's start with Week 1 against the Chargers, Josh. How can you see that playing out, brother?
Depends if Tua is available, but I do think that is kind of we need to beat the Chargers, because if I remember correctly, you guys went out west and lost to them last year, correct?
Yes, we did.
So I feel, and that's kind of like the downward spiral of what happened to Miami, was going out west and losing to LA, and then everything just fell apart at the end. So I feel like that is a first game of the year. You're going to have to go in there and prove yourself. And the Chargers are a good game, or a good team. So if you can come away with a win in that one, it's going to set the tone for the rest of the season.
Agreed.
So looking at this, I have it for the Dolphins currently, and so does Rob. We're both the same on this. 11-6. Okay.
So let me see. I wish I can write on the screen here.
Yeah. I wish there was. I know. I don't have my snippet tool. I could always share, but let's start it like that, okay?
Yeah.
You just win-loss as we go here, and if you want on a pad, you could write out so that way you have the record in front of you when you're done.
Definitely.
Go ahead.
I'm going to start right off the gate, and I know everyone's going to be mad at me, but I'm going to start with a loss here against the Chargers. I think the Chargers are actually. Where is that? Is that in LA?
Yeah, it's in LA.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a loss.
That's right. Let me just while we're doing this, let everybody know here. Josh Wingate, his wife is a Dolphins fan. He is a Cowboys fan, so it's an unbiased opinion because he has his feet in and out of the Dolphins. So we both have 11-6. Me and Rob, obviously diehard Dolphin fans, but to get Josh's opinion is a good one. So let's hear it out. So he has the Chargers beating Miami in Week 1. Not the way we want to start it, but okay. And then you got the Patriots in Week 2.
The Patriots Week 2, I feel like that's going to be a win. I was huge on Mac Jones coming in. I felt like he had the leadership that Tom Brady had, and that was his difference at a quarterback position. Because I feel like leadership at the quarterback position was so high, but his abilities in the NFL have just been awful. So I'm going to go with a win here against the Patriots. This next game is going to be tough, though. I do believe Denver is going to be much better under Sean Payton, but I do feel like you guys are getting a good time at playing them. I'm going to go with that you guys win this game, but I do think down the stretch, Denver is going to be a tough team to play. So we'll do a W there. And then the Bills, I feel like you guys will split with the Bills. And so you get them at away early, which is great for you guys. You don't have to go there. I feel like you guys always get the cold weather games, don't you?
Yeah, a lot of times. Yeah.
You don't get that this year. So I'm going to go. You guys win at Buffalo, which gets you on a 3-game winning streak, and then you go home with New York. I feel like that's going to be a W as well.
Wow.
Yeah, New York is over. They're a good team, but I also feel like they have a lot riding on Saquon, and they're going to push Saquon beyond what he can do this year because they're trying to, Saquon's trying to prove that running backs they need to get paid. And then 2, while Daniel Jones is good, their defense is decent. I just feel like they played over their heads last year, and they were good last year, but I do feel like they're still the Giants, and they're not that great of a team.
All right, hold on, Josh. I'm going to leave you guys, man. I will tune in later to hear what Josh said, but I just looked at the time. I better get running for my lunch. So
go ahead, brother. Thank you for coming, man.
Whatever Cowboys saying, I won't say. So just fins up. Yeah.
How about them Cowboys?
Oh, there you go. Okay, I thought that's what Josh was doing in the background there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Later.
Later, Rob. Thank you so much, man.
Fins up and check out Dolphins Thirsty. So thank you.
That's right. Check out Dolphins.
Hey, if the other Josh can promote, I can promote too. So
there you go.
Yeah. He promotes all the time. Don't let him.
All right. Later, guys.
Later, brother.
Fins up and here for Steve. Dolphins #1.
There you go.
Go Cowboys.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, man. So we'll get back to it here. So you have a loss for the Chargers, a win against the Patriots, and then a win against the Broncos. Is that right?
Yes, I do. And then a win in Buffalo, a win at home against New York. I'm going to go with this winning streak. Everyone's high, but I do feel like you overlook the Panthers because there's a game coming after that that's going to be much bigger in the Dolphins' opinion.
That's a great point.
So I'm going to go with a 2 losses in a row here. So I do think Eagles are the second best team in the NFC right now. San Francisco being number 1, Eagles being number 2 on paper because we still have to play the season, but I do see that. So I see back-to-back losses coming here. And I'm going to say because for some reason Miami has the Patriots number. Every time you guys play them, you guys at least split or sweep them. So I'm going to go with a sweep here.
Okay.
Against the Patriots, and then a loss against Kansas City because it's Pat Mahomes in Kansas City. They're good. Which a much needed bye week comes because after that you've lost 3 out of your 4 games, perfect bye week. And I think the Raiders are just overrated. They're going to go in here. Their head coach is garbage. Their quarterback, while I think he is good, their team isn't good enough to elevate him. And we talked about this on the Beer and Sports podcast, where there's probably only 2 to 3 quarterbacks in the NFL right now that elevate the team around them. Other quarterbacks in the NFL need to be elevated by the team. So I think he's one of the players that needs to be elevated by the team, and Jimmy Garoppolo. And with that, he's coming from probably the best roster potentially in football. And then you have, don't say that. And then you go to the Raiders. So I'm going to say that this is going to be a win for Miami coming off the bye week. And then we have the Jets. And I feel like this is I said earlier with Denver where that is a perfect timing for that game because they're not able to go and get into their rhythm in the third week. They're still learning. They have a new coach. Everything is new for them. So I do feel like you get Aaron Rodgers and the Jets at a bad time here. So I'm going to go with a loss here. And Washington is going to be a good team, but I also feel like Sam Howell is not the quarterback of the future. Sam Howell is going to be it's a perfect matchup for the Dolphins because Sam Howell is a quarterback that can't throw the deep ball. He's kind of a gunslinger. And with this secondary, you're going to take advantage of a quarterback like that. So I'm going to go with a win in Washington as well. And Tennessee's Tennessee. Ryan Tannehill, while he's a bus driver and can elevate above a bus driver at some points, I feel like this team is just on a downward spiral. I don't think that they're going to do much, even with DeAndre Hopkins. I think he's at the end of his career. Everyone's waiting for King Henry to fall, and I think that time is coming right around the corner. There's a reason why he wanted out of Tennessee. Obviously, they didn't let him go because he's what sells tickets there.
Yep,
but
true.
I could see Tennessee just falling. So I'm going to give a W on this one as well. And I'm going to say while you sweep the Patriots, I feel like the Jets sweep Miami.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to be generous as I can be here.
Do it.
I'm going to say you guys beat the Cowboys because the Cowboys do have that tough road matchup.
Yeah.
Of
Buffalo.
Going to Buffalo and then coming to Miami, 2 back-to-back road games, and it's going to be tough for Dallas, especially playing. And while Dallas has every year they play Thanksgiving, so they understand playing during the holidays and things of that nature. I still think that back-to-back time is going to be rough for Dallas. So I'm going to give Miami the W. And I say that so I can look back at this and after we beat you guys, I can see I even gave you guys the win. So there's that. And then so I do have to say Baltimore has a soft spot in my heart because 1, I live near Baltimore, and 2, I have a group of people that I talk to on Twitter. I'm always in Twitter spaces for Baltimore. So I feel like Baltimore's going to surprise people because 1, their offensive coordinator coming from Georgia. We all know I'm a Georgia fan. He's going to utilize the abilities of Lamar Jackson more than what we've seen before. We saw what he got out of Stetson Bennett last year, and Stetson Bennett is nowhere the talent that Lamar Jackson is. So I'm excited. I think if you guys got them early on, just like Denver, you'd be in a better situation. But I think Baltimore is going to be rolling on all cylinders. They're going to be potentially fighting with Kansas City for one of the best teams in the NFL because last year they got their new defense coordinator. They're moving into this year with the second year under that defense coordinator. While they have a new offense coordinator, let's admit it, their offensive coordinator last year and years past has just been awful. He hasn't utilized the talent around there. He doesn't use Lamar to his strength. And I just never understood that when they're on the goal line and it's like they're on the 5-yard line and you have Lamar Jackson. Why don't you do a play action fake or an RPO play and let him put the ball in his hands? he took the ball out of Lamar's hands, and this new offense coordinator is going to put the ball in Lamar's hands and let him control the offense. So I think Baltimore is going to then beat Miami here. And let's see, what did I have before? I had you guys beating. So I'm going to have you guys losing out at this point. So I'm going to have Buffalo beating you guys. So currently I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 and 8 for you guys.
9 and 8. Okay. Which is the floor for me. I have it 11 and 6 and the floor of 9 and 8. And I did have Baltimore beating Miami in my predictions. I do have Miami splitting with Buffalo. I have them splitting with the Jets. I have them sweeping the Patriots. But the Baltimore situation, I agree with you. And I will remember Miami beat Baltimore last year in a great comeback win. But that was because Baltimore took their foot off the gas, and that it bit them in the butt. And so, but I will say is that it's the same conversation with Tua as it is with Lamar Jackson right now. Tua in the last 2 seasons has played only 13 games. Lamar Jackson, 12 games in the last 2 seasons, 12 games last year, 12 games the year before.
Yeah.
If Jackson is healthy, you're looking at a healthy Jackson at that point of the season. It's going to be a tough game for Miami. Baltimore, when healthy, is always a tough out. It always seems like to have Miami's number. If Miami beats them, to me, it's a huge win. It's an uplifting win. When they beat them, when they lose to the Ravens, it's a deflating loss. So it's such a key point at that point, and it's you would hope that that's where the question is for Miami, right? And when I tell people, like in regards even for Tua, it's the two things that stand out for Tua showed last season that with the weapons and when everything's working perfect, he's good. He's not. No one can say he's a bad quarterback. 8-3, had stellar numbers, MVP candidate at the first part of the season. But what did he not answer last year was playing in December. He struggled in December. Then he got hurt again. He only played 13 games. So this season is about if he could stay healthy. I have it 15 games this year. That's why I have it 11 and 6. And it's the same goes with Lamar Jackson. I'm interested about the Denver Broncos. You think that they're going to have a better season than most people? I think that I don't know, man. I have a feeling about them just not. I just don't think they're going to do anything this year. I think it's going to be a fall flat on your face because there is hype with bringing in Sean Payton, but then I see it's kind of like. Now you got, Billy Turner. Of course, he's not on the roster, but he's talking trash in the background. You see Sean Payton's kind of saving face or doing something, talking about the coaches from last year. What makes you think that they're going to have a good year this year?
Well, one, you mentioned it. I think the coaching changed from what they had last year. I can't remember who their head coach last year was. To Sean Payton is just dramatic. It was just that stop-gap coach until he could figure out something better. And the coach last year just was awful. I would put him on I can't think of his name right now, coach for the Jets and Miami. What is his name?
Adam Gase.
I'd put him on pace with that quality of head coaching.
Wow.
And Adam Gase doesn't even belong in the NFL as a coach in general, in my opinion. While I would not agree to that standpoint, I just don't feel like that coach was ready. Where Adam Gase wasn't ready and just put his team in just crappy situations. I am not one of the believers that think Russell Wilson is the Russ Wilson that he played last year. I think the head coach and quarterback connection means more than what a lot of people think. And bringing in Sean Payton, he brings the most out of his quarterbacks. Let's also remember he was the offensive coordinator under Dallas when Tony Romo was coming up. Tony Romo was an undrafted free agent quarterback who then turned into one of the best regular season quarterbacks of his era. And while he wasn't a postseason quarterback, Sean Payton helped groom that quarterback. And I think he's going to get the most out of Russell Wilson because there's no way you can tell me the team elevated Russell Wilson that much to where they were just perennial game changers. And we were looking at the team and saying, they need to give more to Russell Wilson because he's just making plays after plays. And then he goes to Denver and everyone's just shooting him down. He is still a talented quarterback. And I'm waiting for that to come through because I don't want to think that there is something in there to where Russell Wilson isn't the great as he was in Seattle. And I hope Denver doesn't do well because I have a really good friend that is a Denver Broncos fan, so I want to see them fall flat on their face. But Jerry Jeudy's a really good.
Appreciate you, brother.
Jerry Jeudy's a really good receiver. Tim Patrick, good, big receiver. They still have Cortland Sutton. They have Marquise Callaway, who is very similar or very understands the offense with Sean Payton. They have a good offensive line. Mike McGlinchey got brought in from San Francisco, one of the best right tackles. Greg Dulcich. They have a good offense, and we all know that they have a good defense as well. One of the best. They always have a really good secondary, and they have a good pass rush. So I can't believe it, especially bringing in a new coach, that they're not going to be good.
Let me just say, because I saw Scotty, and Scotty, thank you for tuning in. Everybody tuning in again. If you're watching on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, we appreciate you. If you're not on YouTube, do me a favor. When you have a chance, or if you can, switch over to YouTube, smash that like and subscribe button. You can catch Wingate on the Beer and Sports podcast on Monday nights. Catch me every Saturday and Monday night after his show, East 10th Street Boys, or Saturday on Fitz Talk Today. But Rob will take care of that tomorrow for me. But 9-8, Scotty was saying that's absurd. I don't think it is. And again, I think that's the floor for Miami, because I had them 10-7 last year. They were 9-8. They were 9-8 the year before. And yeah, you would think, okay, they've gotten better. Well, every team's added players and gotten better. I still think I have it 11-6. Okay. The reason why I don't think it is absurd is that you got to think about where these teams might be at any point in the season. I could see, let's see what's going on. Boo. Evan's in the house somewhere. Evan, I don't see your camera on. So Alex Brown in the house. Alex, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, man. Alex Brown, host of the No Holds Barred Wrestling Crew. They're on every Thursday night. Ralph Rodriguez, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Oh, he's driving. That's why he's driving. Join me. Let's get Evan in here and see why it's absurd that it's 9-8. We'll let Evan tell us why. Evan, did you hear Wingate's predictions?
No, I missed his predictions. Hi, Wingate. How are you, buddy?
How's it going? Doing well. I got you guys going 9-8. But I will say, obviously, in this time, it takes 2 games of the flip-flop that schedule to being 11-6.
That's what I'm saying. That's what
I said early on. Yeah, like early on, I said because you guys are in LA, I do feel like that is a big game for you guys to start the season. If you guys come out and win that game, that can change the entire season around for you. And then at that point, if you guys won that game, I have you guys winning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row. So,
well, and that's for me, right? And I have us beating the Chargers because I had that chip on the shoulder for losing last season. McDaniel, because McDaniel had a bad game coaching. Tua, because Tua had a bad game quarterback. And I think Tua and McDaniel are going to use that as a statement game to start the year. And the other difference to that, to my 11-6 to your 9-8, was we split the season series with the Jets.
Yep.
Go ahead, Evan. Your thoughts.
First question for Wingate is, do you have us going 9-8 yesterday or 2 days ago, or only after the Ramsey injury?
I did it right now, live on the air. I just threw it all in there and have you guys go 9-8.
Would you have said 9-8 if Ramsey wasn't injured?
I didn't even account for the Ramsey injury. I think in the bulk amount of this season, I think he's going to be there, so I just didn't account for that.
So can you do me a favor and clarify for me how a team that with the injuries at corner, even with the Ramsey injury, with a lot less depth we had at corner, Tua 100% healthy, deeper wide receiver core, more depth on the offensive line, Vic Fangio, how you have us going the same record as last year? Justify that to me.
This schedule is tough. I feel like you guys have a very tough schedule going.
It is a tough schedule. Second toughest.
I feel like I even gave you guys the win against Dallas. Understand that. I gave you the win against Dallas. So
I'll put it to you this way. If the team falls to 9-8 this season, Mike McDaniel will not be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins next year because they will not be making
It
the
depends.
playoffs.
Does 9-8 make you the playoffs again?
If they're 9-8, and even if he makes the playoff, if they are at the same record with this team, with Vic Fangio at defense, adding Jalen Ramsey, even if he comes back mid-year, adding the pieces that they've added, a second-year coach, Greer and McDaniel will both be fired by the end of the year because Ross will lose his mind. So the team better have at least 11 wins, and the team better make the playoffs, or at 9 wins gets Greer and McDaniel fired. You heard it here first. 9 wins gets this team nowhere because this is their 2-year window with the depth they have on this team, where the contracts for Phillips, Waddle, Tua, everyone's going to come due in the next 2 years. You're going to have to sign Wilkins. You have to sign Sealer. Howard's going to be leaving. You better figure this out in the next 2 years. So 11 wins, I would say 11 wins without Ramsey. I would say 12 to 13 with Ramsey. So for myself, if they have 9 wins, there will be not many bandwagon shows this year on a positive framework because McDaniel will be ripped to shreds on each and every game because there's no way Vic Fangio, to me, gets you one more win than you had last year, no matter what. Because his defense is his defensive scheme compared to Boyer's team. Boyer's defensive scheme last year lost us a lot of games. Fangio is not going to make that same mistake. So for me, if they have 9 wins, that's considered to me a disaster, like an utter disaster season. Like that is a disaster. Like, why did you go get Tyreek Hill? What? Like, because you were 9-8 with Brian Flores, no offensive line, and a second-year Tua who was hated by the coach. How do you still have 9 wins 2 years later when you have a more experienced Waddle, a more experienced defensive coach, an offensive guru, Tyreek Hill, Teron Armstead? This would be an utter disaster. If they don't have 11 wins or more, this is a disappointing season.
It's hard to get 11 wins in the NFL. It is really hard to get 11 wins in the NFL. And then I will also say, with my prediction, I did try and look in how the mentality of this team is. And it could change. It could be this mentality of this team doesn't overlook NFL teams. Oh, we lost them. They don't overlook. They could be that team that doesn't overlook lesser teams, but I have them overlooking Carolina. And
you do, yeah, that's there. Right. That's right.
So that could be easily a win if this mentality of this team is just, look, we're playing each team individually. We're not looking past them to go prepare for Philadelphia.
And that's a fair
point.
Be a tougher team. A fair point because you're not just looking at you're not looking at roster to roster. You're like, hey, look, it's the same thing with the Dallas game because you would have picked Dallas over Miami. You, of course, being a Dallas fan, but you said, hey, they're going to play the Jets the week before. the Buffalo Bills the week before. Then they got to travel from Buffalo to Miami, play against a tough Miami team. They're not going to be able to, they're more likely to lose that game. Same thing with Carolina. Obviously, on paper, you would go, oh, Miami could take Carolina. But what you're saying is they got the Eagles the week after. They're looking past Panthers, looking at the Eagles, which could slip them up. And that's where you see a loss possibly to Carolina. So to me, I go 11-6. I can't see 9-8. Of course, I had 10-7 last year. Wow. Alex Brown of No Holds Barred, who's a Texans fan, has 10-7.
I disagree with you. I could disagree with you. I could see 9-8. I could see 5-11 with any team. I can give you reasons why a team with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase can win 5 games. I can give you reasons for every team. I can give you a reason why Bill Belichick can be an offensive guru and give you 13 wins, but also give you 5 wins with this and be a disaster. My point is that this team, with the roster that they have, how can we consciously say to ourselves that team, I don't care about the schedule, that team I don't care about schedules, that team would have the same amount of wins as the team that Brian Flores had 2 years ago. That's unbelievable to believe. If that is the case, then blow this up again and start all over. Because as you're basically saying,
well, that could be the case. If they go 9-8 and don't fall into the playoffs, go 9-8 and this time don't get lucky and fall into the playoffs, then this could be a blow up type of situation where Ross is putting all this money into this football team and says, you know what? No, 9-8 is not good enough. Almost making it is not good enough. Underachieving, is not good enough. Let me get a general manager in here who could put this team over the top. Let me get a coach in here who could put this team over the top. You're absolutely right. 9-8, like 3 years in a row with this talent, with this roster, in the second year of this coaching staff, with Vic Fangio, I'd be paying him all this money, would not be acceptable. But
I'd be prouder of the 5-11 team of 3 years ago than I would be of the 9-8 team of this year.
Of
9-8, I would accept with Skyler at quarterback. With Tua 100% healthy, with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle on offense, and if they end up going to get a Dalvin Cook, or they end up getting a Zeke, or they end up getting a Kareem Hunter or Leonard Fournette, adding to that backfield, and A-Chain end up doing well, and the team they run the ball, they better get 11 wins with Tua. If they don't,
let me just say to Scotty very quick.
This is a disaster season.
I hear you. Let me just say to Scotty very quick. When I say blow it up, he says we have too much of a talented, basically we have way too much talent on this roster to say blow it up if we go 9-8. I'm not saying blow up the roster after 9-8. I'm talking about the front office and the coaching staff. That's what I mean. It's because we have so much talent on this roster. There is no excuse. And that's my floor for this season. I could see 9-8. I've seen the record. People pissed. Hold on, Evan. I was just saying, I've seen it. It's a floor. I have it 11-6. The floor is 9-8. Okay, but they do go 9-8. This team is way too much talent. Has way too much talent, Scotty. And thank you. Too much talent to go 9-8. And that's what I'm saying. Blow it up. I'm talking about the staff and the front office. No reason for that to happen. Go ahead, Evan. I apologize.
Yeah, no, don't apologize. Happy birthday, buddy. So I've already wished it to you in 4 languages. No, for me, as this roster is built, for me, it's not even about the talent. If they can't get over the hump this year and show significant growth with this roster, then there's a fundamental issue with the foundation of this team. Because if you take a team like Kansas City, where you have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Chris Jones, those are foundational pieces. But around that, you have complementary players. You're not talking about superstars. And you have a foundational coach in Andy Reid. With Vic Fangio as your coordinator and Mike McDaniel as the offensive guru, you have a very nice tandem there and an experienced coaching staff. And you and I raved about the coaching staff going into last year, and now we're even bigger on the coaching staff with Fangio being there. If they then realize, as a foundational piece, with Wilkins and with Holland and with Howard and with Ramsey when he comes back and with Tua and with Waddle and with Hill, if they cannot get this team 11 wins fully healthy and get us into the playoffs and win us 2 playoff games and do whatever, then there's a fundamental structural something missing. It just shows that they may not be the right leaders and that you don't have the right leader for your team, right? Like, that's what I always say to, I teach Wingate about this, but I think the one thing about it is I never had a true belief in McCarthy as a coach. I think he relied a lot on Rodgers, but if Prescott doesn't get you over the hump over the next year or two, is he not the right leader or quarterback for your team? That's what I'm saying. Is Tyreek Hill is supposed to be the number 1 rated wide receiver in the league. If he comes back and he plays fully healthy, and you're going to realize that Mahomes maybe was the engine that drove it, and he didn't need Tyreek Hill. He was a complementary piece, but he wasn't the leadership piece. So for me, as a team, am I upset that Ramsey got hurt? Sure, but there should be enough depth at that position, like I said about an hour ago when I was able to jump on for 15 minutes, that we should be able to overcome this, because Vic Fangio, to me, it was a more important piece to add to this team than Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey, like Dalvin Cook, to me, was a luxury piece. It wasn't a necessary piece. Vic Fangio was necessary to revamp this defense. Jalen Ramsey wasn't necessary for our defense to go top 10. That's just my opinion.
I got you. And let me ask this, because Wingate won't be on tomorrow. Tomorrow they're going to talk about, on Fitz Talk today, about Tua being the 83rd best player in the NFL, top 100. Voted on by his peers, and then talk about his chances of winning MVP, Wingate. And I know you had this debate, and since you're not going to be on tomorrow, I do want to get your 2 cents on that. And then, of course, Evan being here, he could rebuttal you, of course. But 80, I think it was 83. Am I right on that? Was he the 83rd best player voted on, or was it 84? I think he was 83. Armstead was 84, and then Christian Wilkins was 82, something like that. But did the players get it right? Is he the 83rd best player in the NFL? Does he belong in the top 100? And Does he have a shot at MVP next season, Josh?
I mean, I wish I could tell you no. I don't know, honestly. I don't. I haven't thought of my top 100, so I don't know where I would rank him.
How did you feel when you saw him on there? That's probably a better question.
When I heard he's the 83rd best player in the NFL, my initial thought is there's no way.
Okay.
But also we have to take in accountability the position and what he plays, so I can then see his position jumping him up compared to maybe a running back or a receiver or something like that, because his position is more valuable in the NFL. But as far as MVP, when I think of MVP, you have to be the most valuable player to your team, and I still don't believe he's the most valuable. He's the one player the Dolphins need to play well, but at the same time, if these receivers don't play well around him, like, he's not going to. This team's going nowhere. I've mentioned this on a previous on the last Beer and Sports podcast. I said that there's probably 2 to 3 players in the NFL that elevate the players around them. The rest of them are elevated by the team around them. The quarterbacks is what I'm speaking of. There's 2 to 3 quarterbacks that elevate the players around them. The rest of the quarterbacks are elevated by the team around them. And I think that's the difference in what makes these MVP quarterbacks special, like Patrick Mahomes. I do think Aaron Rodgers elevates the team around him rather than the team elevating him. And I can't think of another quarterback off the top of my head right now that elevates the team. But if I'm initially going into who's going to be MVP, I got to start with Patrick Mahomes. I got to start with Aaron.
Josh, the guy you're thinking of, the only guy who elevates his team when he's on the lineup is Lamar.
That's true.
Lamar, the way they're schemed, if Lamar's not there, the team is not. The team
I will say this. I think Lamar as a runner elevates the team around him, but as a pass, I think he is a passing quarterback.
I'm saying with their scheme. I'm saying the scheme.
I think he's not going to make his receivers better around him because of his ability to pass.
But he elevates the team. That gives them confidence.
Him just being a player on that offense elevates the offense overall. But I'm starting the conversation out with MVP at Patrick Mahomes, with Aaron Rodgers being on a better team than he was last year, having better receivers around him than last year. And then from there, I don't know. But I can't go into the season thinking Tua is going to be MVP with those 2 players in the NFL.
Gotcha. So let me make sure I'm not missing anything here.
Can I just make a clarification, though?
Go ahead.
The MVP should no longer be called the MVP. It should be called the MVQ, and it should be the most valuable quarterback, because most outstanding player can go to anyone in the league. Most outstanding offensive player, defensive player, that's going to go to other players in the league. That's where that should go. But MVP is always going to go to a quarterback. The only difference with Tua is the reason why he's going to be an MVP candidate if this team gets to 11 or 12 wins is because without him, they're not going to make the playoffs. Like, he's the one position, because of the way this team is structured based on the passing game, no matter what, they're going to come pass first with Waddle and Hill. Tua has to get them the ball. But it all depends, because he was in the conversation before he got injured. And for him, whether he has the $23 million guarantee to himself next year or not, he sees what just happened with Herbert. He sees what's about to happen with Burrow. Burrow's not super. His injury doesn't turn out to be bad. He's actually timing himself perfectly that if he has a bang-on season next year, he'll end up being, if he has the season that we all want him to have this year and expect the Dolphins to have as Dolphin fans, in 2 years he'll be the highest-paid quarterback in the league. If he's 100% healthy,
I'll say this. I think Tua isn't an MVP. I think he could be Offensive Player of the Year.
There you go.
No.
There you go.
If they win the division and win 12 or more games, it's going to be because Tua was played at least 50, played 16 games, sat out the last game, threw for close to over 4,500 yards, over 40 touchdowns, under 10 interceptions, and got this team to the playoffs. He will be the reason.
There you go.
He will be the reason, because he will be able to adapt to the scheme with a complementary running game, and he'll make the difference. That's what I truly believe. If he has an average season, they're going to probably get 10 wins, finish second in the division, maybe third, still sneak into the playoffs, maybe win a playoff game, get Ramsey back, and then there'll be complementary pieces. I'm saying if they win the AFC East, it's going to be because Tua literally had the season we all thought he could be before when everyone thought tank for Tua.
There you go. We'll
But
leave it at
McDaniel.
that.
It's up to Evan McDaniel.
All right. That's Evan Posner of the Fins Bandwagon. Catch him hopefully next Thursday night.
Starting next Thursday, I'm back.
Starting next Thursday, Fins Bandwagon. He's back. And then, of course, you can catch Josh Wingate every Monday night on the Beer and Sports Podcast. Guys, I thank you all for joining. Oh, now you put on something Dolphins, you bastard. I'm just thank you all for everyone. There you go. There's some Dolphin stuff. I want to thank everyone who joined me.
The bracelet. Hey,
there you go. There you go. Thank everyone who joined me. That's awesome. Everyone who joined me for my birthday. I appreciate you all. Everyone who tuned into the channel. Thank you, brother.
Birthday, buddy.
Smash that like
Happy
and subscribe
21st.
button. Huh?
Happy 21st.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I'm legal now. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Smash that like and subscribe button. More Dolphins content tomorrow on Fitz Talk Today at 12 o'clock Eastern. Fish Tank Hank, Rob of DolphinsThirsty.com. Tune in. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe. Most importantly, fins up. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Fins up.
Talk Sports Network.